With the approval of former King of Onderon Dendup, Steela Gerrera was placed in charge of rebel forces, in a bid to retake the planet from the Separatists. Before the final battle, Steela grabs Lux to perform a public display of affection in front of Ahsoka, much to the visible frustration of the Jedi Padawan. During the battle, the rebels are initially struggling, but with the intervention of the Jedi and the pirate Hondo, the rebels obtained a set of rocket launchers, turning the tide of the battle. The Separatist forces are in retreat, and Saw Gerrera shot down the last gunship. Unfortunately, the remnants of the ship collide into the cliff, where Steela and Dendup were placed. The king makes it to safety, but Steela is hanging off the cliff, and the arriving Lux cannot reach her. Ahsoka hurries over to lift the falling Lux with the Force, but Steela cannot be saved, as she tumbled below. Steela had helped to save Onderon, and Lux was made its senator, as Ahsoka and Lux maintained cordial relations. But what if Ahsoka and Lux fell in love? Would Ahsoka still leave the Jedi Order? How would Anakin react to this development? All of that is to be revealed. Ahsoka felt a great pain in her shoulder as she is hit by a laser blast and watches in horror as Steela fell to her death. Ahsoka could not bear to look at Lux and put on her cowl, walking back to the rebel camp. Later at the Unifier Temple, Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi watched Ahsoka from close by, feeling an underwhelming sadness in the Force. This quickly changes, as Lux proudly announces he would follow in his mother's footsteps, becoming the Senator of Onderon. Ahsoka lights up, as that meant Lux would likely be staying on Coruscant, the sudden change not unnoticed by Anakin. Ahsoka and Lux bid farewell for now, and landing back on Coruscant, Anakin has to talk to his Padawan. They stop in the middle of a temple corridor, leaving Obi-Wan to report to the council, and Anakin warns Ahsoka about not letting her feelings cloud her judgment. Ahsoka argues with Anakin, and they were fortunate that the corridor was empty, as she revealed that she had known about Anakin and Senator Amidala. A nervous-looking Anakin guides Ahsoka out of the temple, and takes his speeder to Padme's apartment. With Ahsoka's revelation, a weight has been lifted off the shoulders of Anakin and Padme, and they decide they should tell Obi-Wan. Waiting patiently outside of the council chamber, Obi-Wan emerges, and Anakin reveals his marriage to Senator Amidala. Obi-Wan is not angry at Anakin, having known for a long time, but he is annoyed that he had not told him sooner, as he could have spent the time with Satine. After completing the gathering on the planet of Ilum, and being rescued by Obi-Wan, Ahsoka is quietly meditating in her quarters, when Anakin swipes open the door and rushes in. The Jedi Knight looks enraged, having heard Yoda and Ki-Adi-Mundi ignoring the pleas of Duchess Satine on Mandalore, as they did not want to interfere with a neutral planet. Anakin had felt Obi-Wan's conflict, and he had to help his master. Getting to her feet, Ahsoka joins Anakin, and can see Obi-Wan flying away in the twilight. Anakin doubted whether that pile of junk could make it to Mandalore, and they needed to provide some assistance. Going to the temple hangar, Anakin and Ahsoka organize the 501st for a special mission to be known by nobody. The group takes several gunships in pursuit of Obi-Wan and to save Satine. Hovering above the domed capital of Sundari, Obi-Wan is nowhere to be found until they see a group of Mandalorian super commandos hurrying to the docks. Anakin, Ahsoka and the 501st swoop in, creating a diversion for Obi-Wan and Satine to escape from the burning twilight. Going back to Coruscant, Anakin looks awkwardly at Obi-Wan, as the unhappy figures of Mace Windu and Yoda stood waiting for their arrival. The three Jedi are reprimanded for disobeying the Council, and Anakin has had enough of the narrow-minded Council, stomping out into the sunset. Ahsoka and Obi-Wan follow suit, and the Jedi Order had become slightly emptier. The Council are left to reflect upon how they had lost 3 Jedi, including a Council member, and Yoda looks at the open door of the Council chamber in regret. Outside, Anakin, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka go to Padme's apartment, where Satine was recovering from her tribulations on Mandalore. They needed to plan another assault on the planet to put Satine back on the throne, but without the assistance of the Jedi, it would be difficult. Just then, there is a knock on the door, and it eventually opens, revealing Senator Lux Bonteri. Ahsoka is delighted to see Lux, as well as the others, who could use the help of the rebels of Onderon. With the addition of Lux, it was time to put Satine back on the throne of Mandalore, and end the brutality of Maul and Savage. That is it for part 1 of What If Ahsoka and Lux Fell in Love. If you'd like to see a part 2 soon, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, and subscribe to this channel and my other channel What If Films for more what ifs. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.